Hello folks, in this video I'm gonna build a pedal board, and this is what I'll be using. It's a bunch of self-made pedals and the board is also made by me. I actually used it before. I had a setup here, but I'm gonna do a different one now, and the taped off area is for a power unit I'm gonna use, so I just mark that, and then I set up everything nicely around it so that fits, and I won't get anything in there. And this is the rough setup I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna use all these pedals, but they are going to serve as an example of the space I'm going to use. So that's the amp actually. And this here that I'm touching right there is an ABY pedal. So I can actually run these pedals to two different amplifiers, or then I can use the AB pedal as a tuner out or a mute. And the ABY actually, you can also do a stereo setup, so you can run it to two amplifiers at the same time. So then I'll just start measuring up the cables, and I'm using these cheap jacks right here. And for the cables, I'm using cordial, and this is this not so thick, but still really good. And I'm gonna leave a little bit extra in case I need to use these cables anywhere else. And I could use these like different jacks, and they would have a slightly smaller footprint, as you can see there. Just a little bit, you know. So that would be a way to go if you really wanna, you know, use the space more efficiently. So, but I have a bunch of these old ones that are cheap and effective, so I'm just gonna use those. And as you can see here, I've cut myself a bunch of cable. We're gonna skip ahead, and that's what I'm working with. Cordial. I trust the cordial, and another good one is Summer. I use that occasionally, but now I'm gonna go with the cordial. And I have cut my cable to lane, and then I'm just gonna do the basic. I'm just gonna start soldering it up, and I think I have a video for that. I might link that up. And yeah, not much to it. You just strip the wire with your wire strippers, like that. And then you twist the leads, and you twist them good, so you don't have any loose strands there that could cause shorting or ground issues. You know, you don't want that. So that's nice, you know, get it nice and tight. And then I'm gonna strip the smaller one. There we go. Same thing with that one. It was actually so tight, so when I cut it and pull it, the plastic on there is so hard that I need to push the lead back a bit. And I actually need pliers for the job. Because yeah, I don't have the grip and strain in my fingers. There we go. Now I can see it on the other side, so gonna do the same thing there. And as you can see, I have a lot of stuff going around on the desk usually, so it's quite messy. So there we go. For some reason, this is like the cable actually have two cables. I just separate them, and then I have a smaller diameter cable, and the one that has the red, like I showed there, the smaller red one inside, that's for some reason the plastic is not that hard, so it's much easier to strip and work with. So this one with the white is like, for some reason, I don't know why, but it's much harder. So yeah, here we go. I think I've used these before, so they should have a pretty good. Remember those, you need those, and put them in there. Make sure they are in there. Put them away for now. And then we'll get the soldering. At first I'm gonna like pre-tin the leads. And that's what you should always do if you want to do quality work. Like that. And all the way to the like bottom. And same with the thinner one. I'll call it smaller, thinner, whatever. English is not my native language, so there you go. Dude, get your head out of the way. Oh, it's not in the way. Yeah. All right, and then it's ready for the jacks. So I'm gonna probably show you how it looks like, or not. God damn it! There we go. So that's a nice solid one. It was a bit unclear, but I assure you, it's like no loose strands there, just solid. That's what you want. 10, you want to cut a bit of the excess off. So that's my ground wire. Put it there. Then I have that small hole for the tip, and I use this tool to just bend the lead. There we go. It stays in place like that. And sometimes you actually want, if you have like this, you want to get a good connection. And so the other thing I do, I might sand the contact area just a bit. That might be something you want to do with certain kinds of jacks. There we go. Like, get it in there. Leave it. Let it cool off, and you'll have nice connections. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. I had to shoot these with, I think, not so good webcam, so it's a bit out of focus. That's what you get when you buy a crappy Xiaomi phone. And then you make sure you have those in there, get that one already closed up. There we go. And then remember, put that in there before you solder up the other one. How many times have I forgot? And then I'm like, fuck me. I did it again. Why can't I get any wiser? That's the thing you'll ask yourself when you do that. And that's it. Get that. Some tin in there. Some solder in there. Good connection. I have this like self-made fume with a couple of fans, and sucks the fumes through a filter. I also suggest you use a perspirator. Yeah, if you do a lot of work. And especially if you use leaded solder, so then your working area should be well ventilated and have a proper fume extractor. But yeah, there's one cable done. Not that hard, and it most certainly is effective, and it will save you a lot of money if you do it by yourself. I think the cost for a cable like that is just a few euros. And then I can actually test if I have any problems, and I'm gonna test it with a multimeter. I should probably make a little video about that, but you can actually just buy a multimeter and read the instructions, and then use the continuity tester to test if you have any shorts or unwanted connections on your cable. And I did not, so and then I'll just go ahead and maybe play some crappy music in here, and you can see it sped up, and I'll just do the rest. I think I should have sped it up more because it's pretty boring and repetitive. Once you've done one cable, you've done them all. But yeah, it's a good skill that will save you money. And of course, then if you learn that, then you can learn to mod your guitars and change components there, all kinds of new stuff. Make pedals yourself. And yeah, good skill. But yeah, next up, there we go. So I have my cables. Well, it seems not all of them, but I have my board pretty much planned out, and then I'm just gonna measure a bit more. Still figuring out what do you call it? the signal chain at this point. Like this goes here and over there. I could go to here, and you know, and I needed a few longer ones, so I'm gonna do those. Yeah, looks good. So and this is gonna be a long ass boring video. I think I need to put some timestamps in here so you can skip ahead to the useful parts. If I don't know, there are some, but like I said, it's most of this is pretty repetitive and boring work. So then I'm gonna use oh, why was that so loud? I don't know. Next up, I just probably went somewhere. Where did I go? Dude, come back. You're wasting my precious time. Oh yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna use a different cable. What am I gonna use? I'm gonna use the summer now. Yeah, a bit out of focus, but yeah, quality cable. So that's what I'm gonna run. And you can see the difference on the thickness there between this and the stuff I use for the cables, patch cables between pedals. But it does not mean lower quality, especially because that buffer, that ABY pedal is actually buffered. So, and it's the last one in the chain, and I put my buffer in there because I have fuzzes in the board, or I will have. So, I don't want to run my buffer before those. They can sometimes be quite problematic with the fuzzes. It's like fuzz before war. The question: do you want to use your fuzz before war pedal or after? And I would have to check but if I remember correctly, I do it like fuzz before war because it sounds better. And yeah, I also use I always mod my wah pedals to have true pi bass because they do suck up your tone, as they say. Yeah, it sucks up some high end, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you can hear the difference when you take your wah pedal out of your signal chain and then when you put it back, and it's not a true pi bass wah. So yeah, and the same thing with the buffer. I like my fuzzes before the buffer. Someone probably has a good video about why you want to do that, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna dig one out. If I do, I'll put a link in the description. But for those who want the science behind it. But yeah, it's then again, I'm just gonna solder some more cable. Gonna have some fun, super fun, happy times. But hey, once you're done with the set of cables, you're like set up for your next build, so you can you can use the same ones. You don't have to do this part for every board you're gonna make, unless you make them for someone else. like I did in this case, it's gonna be a showcase board that I'm gonna take to the local music store. And there you can see I'm actually like fitting everything up. Yep, there we go. That was really sped up in the end. That was the layout I'm planning to use. And there you can see the mover macro power that will be on the board. Looking at this now, I think I made a few changes in the setup. So, yeah. So that one has eight outputs, not isolated, all of them. Four are like parallel. So I always suggest you get a good power supply that has isolated outputs, because if you don't, you might have some excess noise. And that power supply also had the option to, switch to 12 volts and 18, but of course, you probably don't want to do it, since you're not, unless you're sure your pedals can take the 18. But in here, I'll just leave it at 9. It will be good. There we go. I'm doing some. Looks like everything fits like that. So next up, I'm gonna check something. I'm not sure. I'm doing a voiceover here, so. And I went somewhere. Dude, come on. There we go. So, sometimes I use the dual lock to put the pedals on the board. But this time, I'll actually just use Velcro, and from the same company, 3M. It's, I've noticed it's more than enough, but if you want like a really, really good and sturdy connection, you might want to use that dual lock. And the zip ties are actually, I'm gonna drill some holes on the board, and those long zip ties will go around the power unit, so it will stay in place with those. I also have smaller zip ties, and those are for all the cable I'm running there. And now I'm probably looking around, yeah, for those. So I will be putting them on the board in various places. And I just run the zip tie through them and around the cables. And I will have a really nice, tidy and clean setup that way. And the cables will not be moving around, and they will stay in place. And of course, that will make it much more stable, and yeah, it will work properly and have less problems. So I'm just gonna start putting them in places I deem fit, or where I think I'll need them. And they're like self-adhesive. You just peel off the back and stick it in there, and it will stay in place pretty well. especially when it like setups after a while. It's messy to get them off. So, and yeah, the board, by the way, it's made of coated plywood, and then it's some like just basic rails for these case builders. So I ordered that from Tom, and then I just drilled some holes and used pop rivets to keep the rails in place for some longevity for the board, so it doesn't get all chipped and dent, and you know, and it's I think it's just a few euros for that plywood, and the rails are pretty cheap also. I'll try to put a link to it on the description. And it's a way to make really like this basic board that can take a beating, you know. And it's lightweight. That's one good thing about it. It's cheap, and yeah, it will last a long time. I can't remember the thickness. I need to check that up at some point, but yeah. And we have a company, local company nearby. I buy that stuff from. So, and you know, I've built guitar cabinets and stuff like that. So I go there if I need plywood for any of that stuff also. So after this board, I'll actually might be making a board for myself. I'm just checking if the cables are long enough. They are. We're good on that part. But yeah, after this board, I might be, you know, designing a board for myself, and that's gonna be something like, well, a bit excess, I think, especially for me. But I'll use that plywood for the basis of the board, but it will have much more elements, and it's gonna be a double decker. I think that's a good word for it. But yeah, it's gonna be in two. There's gonna be top and a bottom. So yeah, because I want to hide the power supply, and then I want to do some. I want to do some routing straight to the board, you know. And here we go. So I don't want that board to scratch up the floor or slide around. So these are simple rubber feet I'm gonna install there. And there you can see I've drilled the holes for the power supply and the zip ties that go around it. And yeah, those are again really cheap. I bought them nearby from a local company. I'm just gonna install one in every corner with a really small screw that will hold it in place, like that. And it will make the use experience much more, you know, comfortable. And here, after all that, we have a totally different setup. So that's my power supply, and I'm not sure if I actually messed up in here a bit, considering I'm installing that amplifier if I'm installing it there, because I think the mower had the power cable coming to it, and I'm not sure. My friend actually did the. So there again we have the dual lock and Velcro. I'm gonna use the Velcro. So let's put the dual lock away. And I'm just gonna check like what length do I need? And I need that. Cut it. Scissors. Peel off the plastic. And in this point I make sure I put all the like Velcro on the same way around, so you know. So if I want to change the order of the pedals, I can. There we go. Just peel it off. So yeah, I was saying I'm not sure how it looks like how the board looks like with the mower power supply. My friend did that part, so he hooked the power and the mower up on this board. So it might be a little off, I'm not sure. But I hope I'll get an image of it actually at some point. So yeah, there we go. I'm gonna put so that's one of my own making, the boost pedal. It's basically just an Earthquaker Devices black eye. And that will be the first pedal in the power chain. Then I will go to the nicely painted, that's snakes painted by my friend. And that's the Catalin Bread Naga Viper boost. So it's a treble boost with some extra control. I really dig the sound of that. So that's where it's going next. Now I'm just like mocking everything up again. See how it fits. There we go. That looks good, you know. And as you can see, I have totally different pedals here. I'm especially proud of that shiny thing, you know. And there you can. Yeah, that's my website. Which is under work, like many other things. But hey, take it slowly, take it easy. Let's continue with this. So I put some on the top and on the bottom, and that will give me a good I'm lost of words. But yeah, that will keep them in place, you know, really nicely. You can just hang the whole thing upside down, and yeah, they won't fall. You can stomp on them and whatever, you know, they're there, good and proper. So I have my lane measured now, so I'm just gonna keep cutting the amount I need. There we go. Why didn't I speed this up? I don't know. I wanted you to enjoy this as much as I did. It's a shame you can't see the happy smile on my face right now. But I assure you, I had so much fun. So much. But yeah, I actually do. I like building this stuff, so. There we go. Once again. Peel it off. Make sure it's the right way around. I hope I did. I did. I'm sure I did. Yeah, I checked that. I can see there. I did check. Yeah. So, put it there. Oh yeah. Peel it off. So this is the way I do it. You know, I don't just stick Velcro on the board, and I do it like this. I know you could do the board like you just run strips of Velcro on the board, and then you could hook up your pedals like anywhere. But I'm gonna be a bit more precise because this is the layout I'm gonna do, and I've measured, so I'm not gonna change it. And if I change any pedals, they're gonna go there. Just swap places with someone, so you know. I'm not made of out of money, so I'm pretty cheap with my Velcro. I'm I'm just not like slapping it everywhere. Like oh, I got meters of this stuff. I got all the Velcro in the world. Nope, I don't. So I'm gonna carefully measure. Just use as much as I need. There we go. And that's the pedal that raised a lot of fuss, pun intended. But yeah, that's the Lizard Queen, the G J G H S and Electro Harmonics one. I think the retro version goes for over 300 or something, and yeah, I wouldn't pay 300 for it. Uh, but I'm kind of like practical in that sense. I like a pedal with a small footprint, so I wouldn't pay extra for a cool looking box that takes like much more space than it needs on my board. But that's just me, you know. No offense to anyone who likes those like good looking old fuzzes or stuff like that. To each their own, you know. It's doesn't take anything away from me. I like what I like. You like what you like. So yeah, and then I just went to Legendary, and it's just killer sounding fuzz. I like that so much. CVX Woolly Mammoth. So I built a bunch of those. My friends wanted them, and I've sold a few, and yeah, it has this like gated, especially this like gated sound that you will hear if you want to watch a video about some of the sounds on this pedal. That will be coming up also, or is up when I'm uploading this. But yeah, it's you'll hear what I mean. And then I have a few. It always reminds me of this Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown song that in the beginning has the sound you can get from that pedal. So, and then that's an Acapulco Gold, the one I'm trying to get on the board now. So, and that's kind of the point where I'm taking my pedal building now. So you can see a bit of like evolvement there from the text and stuff is printed on a PCB board. So and then I just drilled the holes and I laid down there. But But yeah, Acapulco Gold. So that's really like awesome sounding distortion overdrive fuzz. You know, it depends how much you time the volume and the gain. And it has a lot of volume. Oh man, that thing is. And then there's one placeholder pedal. I said to my friend at the music store that, you know, put some nice reverb in there on that spot. And that's again the single chain is that like boost, treble boost, octave fuzz, then the distortion, overdrive fuzz, and then hopefully a reverb of some sort. And from there, it's to the ABY box. There we go. That's there in place. And from the ABY box, it's to the Run of Groove Ruby amplifier. So that board has almost everything, you know. But like I said, it has pedals and it has an amplifier, and that amplifier sounds killer. You wouldn't believe if you haven't heard it before, and you look at that little box and you're like, wow, and you just laugh about it. Wait till you hear it. You know, I've done a video where I compare it to a Marshall head, JCM 800 on amplitube. You know. But yeah, that thing rocks. And if you hook it up to a 4x12 and just tap the gain, give it some volume, it's just. I've been in a situation many times where people look at it like, what is that thing? They kind of laugh, and then when they hear it, they're like, their jaw is on the floor, and they're like, what is that thing? And I'm like, yeah, it's a small amplifier. You know, it cracks me up every time. People think they need 100 watts of power to, you know, sound good, and not the case. But yeah, that's like everything is in place, so I'm ready to just, well, not yet, because I'm gonna Velcro that on there too. The power supply I'm not, because I have it here. Like I said, the mover is going to take its place. But yeah, that's the Harley Benton. Let me check. Power Plant ISO 2 Pro. I can really recommend this one. It's really small. The outputs are isolated. You have two outputs that can give you 18 volts also. You can switch them between 9, 12, 18. It costs just like 69 euros. The power cable is this like flimsy one, but if that breaks, it's easy to replace. So that's not bad in that way. But it's really like you can fit it on your hand, so it's small. It's effective, and it gets the job done. No extra hum noise or whatever. Really, really good. Really good. At least so far. But I've had these Harley Benton on my old pedalboard. I had the Power Plant Juniors. I think they were 5 outputs, and I recommended them to like everyone because 5 isolated outputs, really cheap, and small again, effective, no extra noise. So, and I sold my old ones to my brother, and he uses them, and they've held up for, I think, 6 or 7 years. So, yeah. Sometimes you don't have to chuck up a bunch of money to get something good. People do have a. Some people do, like when they hear the name Harley Benton, they go, eh. But in this case, I always give a product. I don't look at the name. Well, sometimes I might, but in this case, like I said, they have bad products, and then they have like really good ones, and this is one of the really good ones. Oh yeah, I put a wipe in there just for fun, and for some color, obviously. A hand painted enclosure. That one, still have it in my own collection. I think it's. I need to look inside that, but it has some kind of. It could be the. I don't actually know, but it kind of has some issue with. Or it could be the LDR LED combo, and it's slow in some way or something. I noticed it has a issue I will have to solve, but it's made a long time ago. It's made on strip board. I don't use strip board for these builds I'm doing anymore. I've moved away from those. Occasionally I do when I build something I haven't built before. I do build on strip board, but I mostly want to just keep on, planning KiCad and ordering PCBs because of I can get like they will be more reliable, the quality is better, it's much easier to work with, and so yeah. Now I'm just gonna, as you can see, I'll start hooking up the power, and that's why I use the cable with the smaller diameter on the patch cables also, because I don't wanna, otherwise you'll have to well, it's gonna take up much more space. The cabling is gonna take much more space on the board, so I want to keep that footprint also small. So that's why I'm using that cordial. I should link that in the description also. And some might wonder if like, oh, well, does it take away from the tone, or do you lose some high end or low end, or no, you don't. Especially because I have the buffered ABY, and if I didn't have a buffered ABY or the buffer in the ABI box there, I would have a buffer on the board. And that's a suggestion I have for anyone, have a buffer. Or don't, I don't care. But, if you want to keep your signal intact, use a buffer. I should repeat that a few more times. Use a buffer. Use a buffer. Oh god, that could be annoying. Use a buffer. Yeah, I'll stop it. But yeah, after all that cable management and stuff, and this is like the most boring thing actually on the when you build a board or hook it up, whatever, is doing this. It always feels like a you know, and it's because I would like to get it really really clean, and I always feel like there's room for improvement. So every time I start this, I kind of know that I won't be as happy as I would, but always be improving. Or whatever you do, that's it can be a bit exhausting at times, but keeps me going. So when I have all that done and I look at it, I'm like, next time I'll do better. I'll do better. Hopefully. Hey, that depends. Sometimes you're on a budget, sometimes you're in a hurry. And, you have to take that into consideration. And all in all, how this will turn out, you'll see. I'm really pleased with it. So there we go. Nice and tight. Zip ties. Oh, double over there. Yeah, so the cables won't move in either direction. Next up, I think I put enough of those, There we go. One over there. Get it nice and tight. And then just yank the cables a bit so it's, I have a few master pedal builders that I look and how they do their boards. It's just kind of a work of art in my opinion. But I would think they charge quite a lot. And they build them for those big Hollywood names, So I think their customers are not thinking about the money when they go there. I want a new board. Can you build it? Yeah, I think they won't talk about money. They'll just talk about I want this and that. So yeah, I'm testing if everything's hooks up. The power is working, and yep, there we go. Everything's good. All the pedals seem to be working. Yes, they are. The ABY is working. Yep, everything's working. So I'll do the rest of the cable management. I'm not gonna leave that snake bit over there. But I'm not gonna do as good of a job I would if someone paid me to do this, because that's not the power supply that's gonna stay on there, like I said. So I will be taking that off, and but for some reason I just couldn't leave it like that. So I'm gonna make it a bit more clean and tidy, you know. Use a few more zip ties. But yeah, turn it around and you'll see. That's how it looks like. No, pretty good, I'd say. You know, everything's easily accessible, and you know, how many pedals are there? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pedals, and the amp, and then the switcher. And I think you could probably fit a small tuner in there somewhere. But like I said, this was a board I've used before, and I just made it work. So I worked with what I had here. It was not like custom built, like, oh, I have these pedals, because if I would make a board for someone that wanted a board with, I want this and this and this, it would be much even nicer than this, and a bit more precise, and you know. So I think there's a little extra room there that I would get rid of. So the board would be smaller for this composition of pedals. If I would like make a board for that setup, it would be a bit smaller. Just yeah, anytime you can, I think you want to. Well, not in the at the cost of usability or convenience, and you know, all that. But I think you want to make it as light as you can, and you know, and not take that much space. The next one, the one I'm planning for myself, is gonna be like a spaceship. You know, it's gonna be totally excess. I have this GG Moen GG9 looper switcher that has a programmable. It has like six loops I can program, and that's gonna be the core of it. I'm gonna run my pedals to it, and then I'll have I think a 2 amp setup with lots of crap, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna also incorporate my digital system to it, make this kind of like hybrid setup, or. But yeah, it's that I've been planning for a long time, and I will be making a video about that when I get to it. But first things first. So I'm not in a hurry with that, but yeah, it's gonna be something. I'm actually thinking about good like do-it-yourself reverb or delay pedals for that board. If you have any suggestions, you know, tell me in the comments, or ones you can buy for cheap. You know, I mostly play to my. I just hook my stuff up to my audio interface, so I have a bunch of delays, reverbs, and you know, whatever if I want in my DAW. or then I use amplitube. That has a good collection also. So, you know, I can get the sounds, but I don't know. It's fun to still have a one on your board. Reverb, especially, is a must, I think. You want some reverb. There we go. That looks pretty neat. Still, I think a few more zip ties. And that's done. I have to say, you're like a madman if you watch the whole video, because like right now we can see I just like went off somewhere again. I don't know where. It's nothing's happening. It's dude, what the hell? I should make better edits, I think, and cut off this kind of crap. But hey, let's just appreciate how the board looks. I think it's pretty nice, even though I say it myself, but you know, I'm happy. It will be available to play at Kimon Soitin pretty soon, I think. I hope. Yes. What? Dude, where did you go? What the hell? Come back. I hope so. I have some music in here while we're looking at it. Can I move forward? Oh, there we go. We're back. We're back, people. Now get on with it. God damn it. That was like, what, 2 minutes of my life I won't get back. As they say on the internet. Well, it was my choice. Ah, yeah, I had to get the longer ones. Oh, I see. I didn't have them at hand, so yeah. The small ones didn't do it anymore. Like I said, actually, if I would make a proper board, I would also make the power cables to length. So I wouldn't have all that like extra I have there. But I'm not gonna chop those cables up. I'm just gonna keep them. So I'm gonna do this not so nice looking, you know. But like I said, I couldn't just leave it like it was, so I have to do a bit better job with it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Punch it up, you know, get it tied in there. But yeah, I guess it's if you can do those patch cables, you can also like just solder your own power cables also, and components for them are really cheap also, so it's not a problem in that way. And again, if you want to have a nice proper looking pedal board, I think that's the way to go, and the way I would go, and probably will go eventually. There we go. Everything's tied up. Yep, boy. And then just cut the excess of the zip ties like that. Trim it. Pedalboard trimmer. Yeah, there we go. So it should all be done. Let's turn it around, take a look. And there will be a video about how it sounds. There we go. Nice. Have fun. See you. Bye.